Awesome. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Maricela, I will ask you, though you are our outgoing chair, can you welcome people and then
Yes,
we'll
yes,
get things going?
yes. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for making it to this meeting. I didn't see that Tabidi had accepted the invitation, so I don't think he's coming today. Um, and it looks like we don't need to do a roll call, so maybe we'll jump into the
Nope.
director's update.
Yeah, that's perfect. Um, Thank you, Maricela. I really appreciate your being here. I know it's legislative session. People are busy. So we got I think a lot of people just trying to run in a bunch of different directions, but I do see some staff here. So thank you, Melissa, for getting us going. Anya, Cord, Paul, all here. Yeah, my update, short and sweet, is just basically to say we're Paul and I and some other staff have been on the road um, in the Portland metro area a couple days ago, and today and yesterday we were still actually in Central Oregon. We had community conversations in the metro area. Sorry, there's some background noise because we're now literally on the in Madras, just having lunch, but also more importantly, maybe having this executive committee meeting, and figured we could just do it from the road as we head back from the community conversations that we've had. Again, one in Portland metro area on Tuesday had more than 100 people attend. It was really just a great opportunity to connect with our grantees and other stakeholders. Um, Spent some time talking about um, our strategic plan a little bit, and then spent probably the bulk of the time just talking about our requests for applications and grant opportunities. And then we took off that afternoon and headed to Central Oregon, and we had a community conversation in Redmond um, yesterday with about 30 plus folks from the Redmond and Bend areas. Again, got some background noise. We also just had other folks from Crook County and some other surrounding areas who attended that meeting, and it was really successful. Both meetings have been really tremendously successful. Just appreciating that our folks are coming to the table, interested in the grant opportunities, asked some really good questions, had some good time also outside of the meetings to connect. We're able to connect with some of our council members after the Portland Metro meeting, and then uh, we're also able to connect while we're here out in Central Oregon with a key youth services provider called JBarJ. And then this morning, Paul and I had a really nice meeting with the East Cascades um, Workforce Board staff. So just good, good time. Really positive meetings. It's beautiful weather, so we're appreciative of that. And we're headed back to our home bases later today. So that's what's new. I'll say quickly too on just the legislative piece. We're certainly in Cord and others are tracking what's happening legislatively with legislative session. There's a hearing connected to a House bill next Monday. I think that's the 24th that names the agency. So we'll need to know more and learn more about that. So I don't have a ton of information, but it's a bill sponsored, I think, by Rep. Nelson and Rep. Valderrama. Got some time coming up in early March for our actual presentation to the Joint Committee on Ways and Means Education Subcommittee about our budget. That's probably March 10th or 11th. Sometimes we get bumped a day or two about our budget. So just kind of managing through legislative session, tracking bills, seeing where we're either named or where there's impact for youth and families. Um, I'll say quickly on our budget, just working through some of the particulars with our budget. We know in the governor's recommended budget, there was a reduction in our grant and aid. Now we're working, again with the Oregon Department of Education and the Legislative Fiscal Office, LFO, about now the budget that the legislature will see. And they kind of start over with the budget. They kind of start with a CSL, current, which means current service level budget. And they kind of will see those numbers. Generally, we are going to see where the legislature decides to go with those dollars, whether they retain their reduction from the governor's budget or make some other decisions, particularly again with our grant and aid money potentially being impacted. But we'll see as we kind of work forward with those dollars, or work with the legislature and any questions they have about our budget. But we're eager to kind of see where things land on the budget. So I'll stop there. And I don't know if we've had any additional folks join us. I see a couple of guests, Greg and Scott. We appreciate you being here. We'll have some time for public comment kind of right at the end. But the next agenda item is for us to talk a little bit about our quarterly meeting agenda. So I'm just going to run us through that for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll get to public comment.
Brian, can I ask a quick question?
Of course, Maricela, sure.
Do we have a list of like legislative priorities that we are tracking or that we just should be paying attention to? And then also if there are opportunities to make like public comment or anything like that, will you let us know?
Yeah, we can be in touch with our council members about the bills that we're tracking. We don't, as we've I think reported at our hopefully at our December meeting, and we don't have any specific bills, Maricela, naming that we're putting forward with the governor's office support. So we don't have a specific legislative ask, but we can also share some of there's certainly a list of bills that we're being made aware of and that different entities are tracking. And we're also now tracking too, that are just bills that either impact youth and families or in, the case of the hearing next Monday, that name our agency. So happy to share that information. But again, there's nothing we are specifically that we've brought forward, Maricela, in terms of a bill or a change. I'll say quickly, in the governor's budget, there is money in the governor's budget for a limited duration position to be made permanent. So that is one priority that was named in the governor's budget. Okay. Does that answer your question? Oh, I'll say one other thing, and maybe Cord, you can jump in if you have other thoughts. At the end of March, Maricela, there is once we've done our budget presentation in early March, at the end of March, and Cord, you can remind folks or remind me of the date. There is an opportunity for public comment on the budget package that will be discussed in front of the joint Ways and Means. So that's maybe the 24th or something. I can't remember the date in March, but Cord, maybe you can jump in.
Cord, you're still muted. You got it? Okay.
Well, yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to find the dates. Do I need to state my name for the record?
Sure.
While I'm doing that? Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Cord Bueker, for the record, Deputy Director for YDD. And there's usually one day when the public is invited to come and comment on agency budgets. The dates that I've heard are the 26th and 27th of March. Usually there's one that is designated for early learning and youth development, but since early learning is no longer a division and they have probably a DELC day, we may it may be possible for folks to go on both days, or there's one that's specified. That I don't know yet. It is about a month away, but once we have a solid date or set of dates, we'll definitely make that available to folks. I think that we also can provide some, reminders around, what in terms of advocacy, what is, appropriate, in terms of the governor's budget, et cetera. But that's, I think March 26th and 27th are basically within the schedule. That's where it's falling. So after all of the presentations are done.
Thank you. That sounds great.
Thanks, Cord. All right, we will. I hear somebody may be unmuted in the background.
Probably me.
Oh, is that where you are, Cord?
Yeah, I'm in a noisy spot. I'm gonna mute again. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Again, I probably should have said my name, Brian Detman, Youth Development Director, for the record. I didn't do that at the beginning. So we'll just run through the agenda for our quarterly meeting. So Melissa has it up on screen, I'm pretty sure. I will run through that. I'll just say, hey, you guys, I'm not on screen, but I can put myself back on screen, but it's just going to be me in a sunny place. So, but I'm here, I promise. So we'll start off. This is our draft agenda. Some of these things may change. We got to add some time to these agenda items. I just wanted to make folks aware of the things that are kind of coming up. So we'll start at 10 a.m. This is a hybrid meeting, so some folks are welcome to be in person at the Public Services Building in Salem, but if as council members you're unable to join, or for the public or guests, you can join online to the meeting. And again, as typical, there's public comment opportunity at the end of the meeting. So we'll welcome folks. We have some new council members we're excited to announce. We've had one person who's got an application in named Hannah, and another person who has an application named Nate, and then Chief Andrew Copeland, who's the Kaiser Police Department police chief. All three have been approved or appointed by the governor's office, and we're excited to bring them on. So we'll spend a little time on that, and then just the YDC public meeting responsibility. Just wanted to note that I was in a public meeting training, and just wanted to make sure council members were aware of some of the resources that are provided by the Oregon, I think, Government Ethics Commission. But one of those is they did a training around public meetings, and one of the things they made very clear is that the responsibility for maintaining and meeting public meeting law actually is a responsibility that council and governing board and governing commission members hold. We are, as staff, abiding by public meeting law, but I'll just put a plug in both for the training and for council members understanding the important responsibility they have about ensuring that we're meeting public meeting law. And again, I think as a body, we're doing, as I understood and sat through the training, we're doing a very good job of it. So I'm not saying anything that there's anything to worry about, but my sense is we're abiding by the laws in that regard. Other items for the agenda, we're, as I said, Paul and I and other grant managers, we saw several grant managers and other staff in our meeting in the metro area. We've had another couple of folks out here in Central Oregon. So it's just been a real team effort. But we'll just do a quick recap on our community conversations. We'll have a juvenile justice state advisory group update. We do have one vote that we'll need to do around the Lane County extended detention program, and I know our juvenile justice committee is probably been looking at and reviewing that. We'll bring a recommendation forward to the council. So those are the first few agenda items. Any questions up to that point that I need to answer? Maricela, I think you're kind of our main attendee so far. Any thoughts or questions on that so far?
Do you know if any of our new members, obviously not the Kaiser PD chief, but the other two, are any of them youth, or are they all adults?
The two, Hannah and Nate, are under the age of 28. So yes, they will count as youth, young adult members.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Maricela. After the juvenile justice update, we'll move, and I don't know if Anya is still on. She's had a chance to see this agenda, but Anya, we know you and the team will be ready and talk a little bit more about the Lane County program as needed. Then we'll move to an RFA update. Definitely some items to discuss. We have this just schedule around release, some definitions which we just wanted to share with our council, and the certifications. This is all language that probably maybe at this point will still be in draft because we're waiting for the Department of Justice and their legal sufficiency process, but just wanted to bring some of that information to the council. Another item that's not bulleted on here, but we did want to talk through some of our re-engagement dollars, which originate from the Student Success Act and are paid through the corporate activities tax. Some ideas we have about doing some specific grants with the 9 federally recognized tribes. So that's one other bullet item under the RFA update that we wanted to make sure to discuss at our next meeting. Moving forward, we've got the strategic plan, which our hope is to adopt the plan. We're using the word adopt purposely rather than approve, because we thought that would be a good approach to adopting kind of some of the immediate projects and priorities in the plan. And know too that plan is going to be like a living, breathing thing. We're updating it, looking at it. So we're eager to get the adoption made at this next meeting. Cord can take the lead on that presentation. We'll have a working lunch. Sorry for the background noise. Working lunch. I think probably as a part of that working lunch, we'll have some of our staff do a data presentation. We do this every March for council members who will recall. We bring the latest data from our program, from our grantees and the programs they're running. So there'll be some presentation of data at the meeting during lunch. We'll move toward the end. I may push the agency budget stuff up earlier. I'm not sure. We may finalize, but we want to make sure folks are some of the discussion that I just had with y'all at the beginning of today's meeting. We'll talk about the agency budget and any legislative updates that we know about, public comment. I'll do a quick recap of any actions and next steps, and then we'll adjourn the meeting by 1 o'clock. So this is a 3-hour meeting versus a 4-hour meeting. So there's still a lot to cover. We adjust on the fly. Sometimes things are short, take a little less time than we plan, and sometimes things take a little longer. But we're looking forward to seeing our council either in person or online, and any guests. But that's the agenda that we've got laid out. Any questions or comments?
Cord, it looks like you're talking, but you're muted again. Sorry.
Sorry about that. So I'm going to comment, I think, maybe question and comment. So it looks like for the strategic plan, we'll ask for a vote for adoption of the plan, essentially the plan structure, and I'll be sharing kind of implementation schedule as well as part of that. But I'm wondering if we should note, I think in the RFA update, that when I'll be presenting about this, we've referred to as the Sovereign Nation Fund, and we've now been working with HEC on developing this concept, and we've begun to speak with members of the 9 tribes about it. We're also, I think, going to ask for a vote from the council to essentially, authorize moving forward with this grant model in keeping with some of our statutes. And so just noting that I think there'll be 2 votes there. I don't know if we have other votes, but I feel like tracking where the votes are is something we always try to do. So I think at least in the RFA update for that item, I'll be asking for a motion from the council.
Yeah, Cord, I kind of mentioned that at the end but yes, agreed.
Sorry, I'm trying to operate my buttons here. Sorry.
That's right. You're completely right. And so they will make sure that the order, we tend to try to push the votes toward the beginning. So we might, for example, move that community conversation piece a little bit later, but it's just been really exciting to be out on the road. So we'll adjust, but yes, Cord, you're 100% right. We want to make sure we note where there are votes and where we'll need to make sure we have quorum. And that's, you're right. There are two places, the adoption, there's a vote of the plan, and then in that RFA updates, and it's Cord, it wasn't bulleted on the agenda, but I think you're right. The sovereign nation piece around re-engagement is something we'll make sure is included. Well, are there any questions or comments? We're about in the last 5 minutes, so I want to make sure that we leave a little space and time for any public comments. But Maricela, appreciate you being here. And if you don't have anything else, we can probably move to public comment.
Yeah, no additional questions here. Yeah, this all looks great. Thank you.
Thanks. And just as a quick reminder, and Melissa, I don't know if anybody emailed or messaged you about any public comments, but I think somebody needs to remind me if it's a 2-minute or 3-minute limit on any comments. But I do see a couple of guests, Gregg and or Scott. If there's anything you want to add or ask, we may not be able to answer any specific questions, but now's the time for public comment. Oh yeah, it's written in the agenda. I can probably read it.
3 minutes, up to 3 minutes if we have anyone. I haven't heard from anyone, but we do have a couple guests, so now is the time.
Yeah.
All right, may I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm interested in legislation that involves internships. I also have a complete legislator work spreadsheet that I can send you. I think you'd find it helpful. It'll connect you with everyone, all the meetings, everything that's going on. I have also a spreadsheet that includes your group, but the only person I have any contact information for is Melissa. So that'd be the person I would contact, hi Melissa, to send anything to you. But internships are really important at this time as far as youth engagement. I know the Grange community is interested in supporting that. You have CTEs at every single district. It's a real concern. I'm not hearing anyone talking about using that availability as far as lining up youth for engaging in let's say, an internship in education. How about those seniors who drop out of school or are not interested, just sticking around for that senior year, but really not doing anything productive like working in the classroom for young people and getting trained by reading teachers about how to become an educator, or working in medical facilities as well. And we have a shortage in terms of youth justice for people who would be public defenders. All of those needs and serving in offices and getting some kind of pay and some kind of credit at a junior college level or university level, that would be very useful for helping kids. And it's a double funding thing, and it's by attendance. So if you're attending the community college and you're attending the high school, they all get funds because it's based on attendance. I think it's a real thing we have to think of in Oregon is how can we create the kind of supportive infrastructure that we need for all the services that we want to provide. And yet here's the opportunity. You're the group that's run at center. And again, I've got all the list of council members, lots of names, don't see them here, don't have any information on them. Nothing on the website that I had for you provided any information about how to contact anyone except for Melissa, which is why I have that contact. So my comment is, I think you could up your ability to communicate with a lot of groups. And if I can help you in any way, I'd like to do so. Because I'm an activist in that, I'm a reading teacher, reading specialist. I'm working in the area of early and getting all families involved with the schools so that we keep kids in schools and keep them active and have activities that are engaging in such things as, the Justice for All, speaking one thing or another. All those activities, Oregon Battle of the Books, all of them are engaging, and they all develop the kind of performative qualities that youth needs at this time. Performance-based assessment as opposed to just passing that test at the end of the year.
Thank
We
you, Greg.
appreciate that,
Thank
Greg.
you.
Yeah, you came in right at 3 minutes. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you on email.
Good.
Do we have any other comment from our other guests? Appreciate that, Greg. Thanks.
It does not look like it unless Scott Cooper is trying to unmute and can't. I haven't heard from him otherwise or heard from them otherwise that they have public comment at this time. So we can
Awesome.
back to
Well,
Maricela probably.
Yeah, Maricela, you want to adjourn us?
Yes, thank you for your comment, Greg. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm sure you guys have meetings to head to. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Good. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Al.
I'm really
Thanks,
glad
everybody.
you stopped in.
Appreciate it.
All right. So long.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.